Hi. Well, in this video I wanted to discuss a bit why I chose that board instead of this one, the Arduino Uno, which many of you might be more familiar with. I'm sure that some of you have used this board before, maybe in previous studies, or if you've done design, this is really like the canonical board that everybody that has a learning track in electronics in their design program probably has used before. Now, the Arduino is quite a great platform to learn. It's really fantastic. It's big and bulky. It allows you to stick your fingers in there. Even when you have tiny little fingers, like children can play with Arduinos quite easily. And even if you have big fingers like me, like a collection of 5 sausages on every hand, you can still manipulate these by hand. It has big bulky connectors, big pin headers where you can just plug your wires, and it has a bunch of inputs and outputs. So these are the digital input-output pins, and these are the analog input-output pins. It has 6 in total. 6 analog, and 14 digital, and everything we have around in this board is basically used to program this chip over here. That's really what the core of the Arduino is. That's the Atmel microcontroller, and that's everything else is basically a way of interfacing with that. And these holes over here, the headers as I described, these are inputs and outputs. So these are the things that allow this chip to talk out with the world, receive signals from the world and send out signals to the world. So in a way, these are like the eyes, the fingers and the mouth of our microcontroller. It's the way that it communicates out there with the world. And then another thing that this Arduino Uno has is this USB connector that allows it to talk back to the computer and also get power from the computer that you plug it to. And this is actually the only means of communication of this board. So this board cannot really talk to your, say, the Wi-Fi connection. It cannot go out on the internet. You need like additional plugins for that. You need other boards that connect on top of this one that give you Ethernet or give you Wi-Fi. So the Arduino Uno, the stock Arduino Uno, the basic one, is meant for learning, facilitate learning, but is fairly limited for contemporary applications, which is the reason why I chose for the Featherboard Huzzah for this project. This one has, as you can see here in the bottom picture, it has Wi-Fi. So this chip over here, what it does is it's an IoT chip. It talks directly to any Wi-Fi network that you connect it to. It does a great job at it, actually. Also, it also has Bluetooth built in, so you can connect it to Bluetooth LE, other Bluetooth LE devices. So you can create things on your mobile phone that talk to this thing, for example, via Bluetooth. And additionally, even though it's smaller in footprint, much smaller, which makes it a little bit more finicky to work with. You know, especially if you have big fingers like me. It has many more pins, inputs and outputs. As you can see here, just all the pins preceded by A are all analog. So just on this side we have many more analog connections than the Arduino support, and we have even more on the other side, and the same is true for digital. I mean, this board has a ton of input and output pins that we can use for different purposes, and they can be reprogrammed. So you can say, okay, this pin I want it to act as digital, and this pin I want it to act as the for this specific project, and then for another project the same pin might be analog instead. So it's a much more versatile board. Another thing that it has that I also like is this connector for batteries. So you can plug a little LiPo battery there. And there is a charging circuit for that battery. So let's say if you have a battery connected and then you also plug the USB, this board will automatically think that you want to charge the battery with a USB connector. So it's actually perfect for applications, you know, IoT applications. Everything that you need for a self-contained device is actually on this tiny little board. It's also around the same price, if not cheaper, than the Arduino. So this makes it a really good candidate for me, in my opinion, for the type of work that I want to be doing with you in this sprint, I think this is a much better board than the basic Arduino Uno, and for sure it will support you in your learning path for much longer than an Arduino Uno, which is limited. Yeah, I hope that clarifies why this choice. Yeah, I hope that you enjoy using this one, that you learn a lot, and that you make some cool things with it. Thank you.